Welcome to video 97. I have titled one as Psychiatry or Psychiatric Case Against Me Personally. This is part 2 of 3. Video was preceded with video 96, which you definitely should see prior to this one, and will be continued with video 98. Today is November the 30th, 2013. It is. In this video I will be talking to you about what to do and what not in case, God forbid, you would get hospitalized, thrown behind walls of mental institution, and in addition to that, what steps to take in order to survive, because I do hope that you understand that, or at least you will understand the importance about taking further steps for you to survive. Taking further steps in addition to properly respond during hospitalization itself is crucial for your survival. It is something that will happen more and more frequent. It is news that will become more and more. You will get to see one will appear more and more often due to a simple fact that World War II veterans, in parentheses Nazis, will be more and more scarce to find. It's an elderly generation that is disappearing, and for that reason Simon Wiesenthal, Zionists, communists, 70 years old news will more and more be in greater and greater need of fresh HELTER, SKELTER, or Charles Manson alike blood. And in other words, we will be witnessing what is state-sponsored terrorism more and more and more often. Domestic terrorism, if you like, because this is how they get their 70 years old news going. But I have explained that in detail in video 96. Okay, before I go on with this very video, a quick surprise for you guys. In fact, just as you probably have thought that communists and the liberals do not believe in God, I guarantee you couldn't be more wrong about that. I mean, they don't believe in God as God, but yeah, when I posted video 96 on YouTube and I changed title from Psychiatric Case Against Me to Obama's psychiatric word against persecuted whites, my videos disappeared. They did not last. They did not even appear in, when you would click newly uploaded videos, they would not appear anywhere. They are somewhere out there, somewhere in that YouTube's space, but in reality they don't really exist. So yeah, you couldn't be more wrong about that. In fact, for communists, Zionists, and liberals, Obama is God, and I'm here to affirm, to testify you that they do believe in, I would say, their God, but it's Obama is their God. Anyhow, I will split these issues that I have promised you to talk about in two portions, and one portion I will concentrate on how to act during hospitalization itself, and then after hospitalization, or once you're released from psychiatric ward, if you like. Okay, Um, from my blog, I have already explained, believe, recordings in detail, how they, in my situation, what pretty much the case was, how they have approached, and I was literally sitting on a terrace one day with my laptop, and they would just literally, they would throw themselves, they would just enter through the door all of a sudden, and they would, it was like 15 of them or something, police and rescuers appear out of nowhere, and they would just throw themselves on me. In fact, I was on Facebook, and trust me, I couldn't even type help. Even less, I was allowed to pull my pants on. I was pretty much shackled, dragged down the stairs. As a matter of fact, dragged down the stairs, shackled on a wheelchair, thrown behind the van, and then it was everything that I have described on my blogs, and we'll talk about more about that stuff that took place. But okay, you got to understand one thing. There's just something that they cannot do unless they have a reason to act that way. That means that somebody's got to give them a reason. There's got to be somebody behind that will actually testify against you, which pretty means that they would have to obtain something, some kind of material, something, testimony from people. In my case, obviously they have totally fabricated lies against me to throw me behind the walls of mental institution. Now, this is one thing you got to understand, that if you know that there was nothing that you have done, that you have committed, there is absolutely no reason for you to be in any fear at all. So this is number one thing. Well, I believe that it is important for me to stress you this, so you're not going to be already in panic that somebody's going to come to pick you up at any time, because I was terrorized with those issues for years. For years. It is the stuff that will make you inefficient. Many people give up from pursuing their cause, majority of them, and they fail afterwards. And I will explain to you exactly how and why. So the main thing is for you to remember, number one, is that if there is no reason, if there is no such thing as a reason that you could be hospitalized, you have basically nothing to worry about. They just can't do that. In other words, if you don't threaten somebody with a life, if you don't act, if you don't endanger surroundings, if you're not danger to yourself, there's nothing, basically nothing to worry about. So you pretty much would have to be, I would say, out of your mind, whacked, crazy, for somebody to actually have the right to come and hospitalize you. Second, and this is where we are going next. If they will fabricate lies against you, okay, that means that they will have to face what I already have suggested, steps that you will have to take. Steps that you will have to take for you to survive. If these are not the steps that you will take, if you plan on ignoring what was done to you, you will die. You will be dead. You will be dead. This video is precious because it will really explain you why, how, who, this and that. And what I mean by that is legally. Suggesting you that at one point you will exit that psychiatric ward. You will come out, and it will be up to you. It will be up to you whether to go along and give them more chance to destroy you, or you will stand up against it. If we return a little bit backwards, I have stated that if there is no reason to hospitalize you, then the only other option for them left would be to fabricate lies. So I hope I was clear about that. Now, meaning that during the course of hospitalization, they will do everything and anything possible to make you liable, legit for what they have done to you. They will do everything and anything possible to apologize their crime. That means that you will have to act rationally. That means that you will have to act accordingly. That you will have to do everything possible to avoid any kind of conflicts. Within a week or so, anything that would apologize their crime against you, and this is where I'm heading next. Within a week or so, they will, upon acceptance to psychiatric mental ward, you will be presented with psychological evaluation. According to the law, they have to evaluate you. They have to conduct what is mental evaluation. They have to evaluate your mental state. Meaning that you will go through some examinations, like I did, quite a few, and it is already your proof, number one, supposedly that nothing is wrong with you, which you will use then in continuation against them. Regardless, even if you complete that just as I did that way above the average, they will continue against you, at least that's what they did with me, with suggesting you how you will have the opportunity to defend yourself on hearing, which should take place within a week or so. Well, you see that the word defend already is a totally wrong word. There is actually no reason for you to defend from something that does not exist. So if you know that everything is fine with you, if you know that tests that you have completed were immaculate, you should also already take my stand pretty much, which I am about to explain to you. Fact is that such thing as defend on hearing, when you are politically incarcerated, institutionalized, there is no such thing. Okay, I got to disappoint you about this. There is no such thing. They will present you, they will attempt to convince you that people on hearing are highly qualified people, that are psychiatrists, that you will have your own attorney and stuff like that, that they're there to help you find out about your situation and stuff like that. However, you couldn't be further from the truth. You couldn't be further from the truth, because when political persecution takes place against you, just as I already have explained in my blog, the hearing, pretty much it's like you're stating that this is white color paper. It's basically, they're saying it's black. In other words, whatever you state, it really doesn't matter at all. because they will write whatever they feel like they want to write about. So every word that you will say is, I wouldn't say that it will be word against used against you, but I will say that it's not going to have anything to do nor with you and not with what you had to say about anything at all. Like I've stated, you will say this is white, they will say it's black. When you will say it's black, they will say that you stated, that you said it was white. This is pretty much what hearing is. It's very, very hard to resist that. Extremely, extremely hard to resist that, because I mean, in my situation, the way it was, I was severely tortured. They have filled me with the drugs to the point when I was about to go to the restroom, I smacked with a head against the wall, almost break my head. I didn't have the right, not even to toothpaste. They have, when I entered, they have shocked me for no reason whatsoever. In other words, they will create a tremendous, and I mean tremendous, desire for you to get out of there as quick as possible. And at the same time, they will have, in a parenthesis, patience. I'm not saying that they are not, but you will see what I mean by patience in continuation. Acting in a third person in front of you, like I will state them. Oh, this is a great doctor. This doctor have helped me. He helped me. Whenever you would have like doctors in a parenthesis going in and out of their offices or coming in department, I was placed in a closed department under supervision. Insane. Something like that like they place people that are on suicide watch and stuff like that. When those doctors go in and out and stuff like that, you're gonna have plenty of people start talking about it. Who is here? Who is there? What this doctor is like? And all these doctors are great. This doctor helped me. That doctor helped me. Doctor, and they're like barely waiting for these doctors to get out of their offices and stuff. And it's like, doctor, can I get this? Can I get that? And it's like, yes, maybe we could, maybe we'll talk at this and that. They create, in other words, kind of atmosphere that will make you perhaps even believe that you can communicate with this scum, not the doctors. In US, you have about 60% of them that are part of, they're either part of minorities or Jews. In Eastern Europe, you have 100% of them that are communists. Nobody that is, there's no psychiatrist allowed to practice in psychiatric field unless he is a communist. This is just the way it is. I don't know about the Western Europe though, but this is the situation in Eastern Europe, or ex-USSR, if you like. So it will be extremely tough, but trust me, you do have to resist. You do have to resist, the two reasons that I have stated. Your best option, your only option that you have to exercise, and I did afterwards, but on that hearing, unfortunately, I have spoken. And when you speak, it's nothing. It just gives them hope, believe, if you like, that they will, in continuation, mentally break you. And what I mean by mentally break you is what I will go in details afterwards. What you should do at that point during the hearing and all along from very beginning, since minute 1 of your hospitalization, is I will state to you what to say. Is you have to repeat yourself every time whenever they want to talk to you. Is you have no right to keep me here. You have institutionalize me unconstitutionally. There is no reason for you to keep me there. You're keeping me here on political grounds, and I demand immediate release. Yeah, after all, before they can place you in mental ward, is, as I have already explained before I started explaining about what steps to take, what not, this and that, there is got to be legal decision taken in consideration. There are got to be reasons by the court that they indict you, in fact, into mental ward. They cannot just go and do whatever they think they can do. Extremely important. This is something that you have to remember, what I have just told you right now. I will repeat for you. You have no right to keep me here. You are holding me in here on grounds of political persecution against me. I demand what is immediate release. What about attorney? No such thing as attorney. That's why I have mentioned you on hearing. They will use word attorney. Attorney on my hearing was a Serbian communist who was there, in fact, to persecute and not to defend or assist or anything else. There is no such thing as attorney. There is no such thing, and you basically don't have any rights. Psychiatry is about writing. Just as these psychiatrists have obtained grounds for institutionalizing you based on fake statements, lies, fabrications against you by the police, is the one most likely will go against you. That is exactly how these psychiatrists now that are, in a parenthesis, conducting hearing, will continue to fabricate lies against you. So talking to this scum doesn't do any good to you. The only thing that does is it gives them the ability, hope, as I stated, that by writing lies, at one point you will psychologically break. They will go toward what is mental breakdown. First you have lies, fabrications from police. Then they add to that more lies, fabrications from people that have conducted hearing, and also the psychiatrists that were in that department, in the closed department, also add to that by writing wherever they want to write about. No, you're not allowed to have any cameras, any phones, anything that would help you. Any proofs that you could take about what is taking place. And throughout this process, the only thing they will do is they will be adding to that more and more lies about you. More and more and more lies about you. And it's something, in fact, that will continue even after you exit mental ward. Which this is something that I have to still talk to you about. Once this scum gets what is hope that you will eventually continue to engage in conversing with them, they become more and more empowered. They get great empowerment from seeing you in pajama and in slippers, in those ridiculous wear that they give you. They get great kick out of seeing you that you are shaking, afraid about what they're gonna do. And it is at that point, I would say, quite too late, even if you proceed with what I have proceeded. And what I have proceeded, pretty much at that point I have realized that there is nothing that you can talk with people that do whatever they want to do, pretty much. There is no way you can talk like this with anyone at all. At least if you're on a court outside, you can record the whole thing and publish one on the internet about what took place. But when you are thrown behind walls of mental institution, yes, as I stated, you don't even have the right to have a recorder, MP3 player, camera, video camera, or anything that would testify about what is taking place with you. Nothing, nada. So at that point I have pretty much realized that there will be nothing that I can do, and I have further declined, and I mean declined, to talk with anyone about anything at all. But as I stated, it was too late. Now, if you do what I said, and it's what you should have done, demand immediate release and accuse them of institutionalizing you based on political grounds, your chances of being released are much greater. I'm not saying that at that point that they're gonna drop you, that they're just gonna let you go out, but chances are much greater, is what I would say. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, they will do everything and anything possible to get you talk, to get you in conversing with them. Especially if only possible, you will be challenged on MK Ultra procedures that took place against you. Anything, not only MK Ultra, but totally anything. After all, it is as I stated. Whatever you will say, it will be just about writing, and that's what psychiatry is all about. It's about writing wherever they want to write about. During the course of my hospitalization in this hospital, mental hospital in Ljubljana, in so-called Slovenia, they have gone as far as having American joining me in the same department as a patient. That's why I said, I mean, it's highly unusual. There are only 2 million people in so-called Slovenia, and it's, I have to say, quite unusual when all of a sudden you have American coming in the same department as you. They will do, what I'm trying to say is, they will pretty much do everything possible to get you talk. And when I say everything possible, they go to extreme when they will set up groups. They will have like weekly gatherings, groups, where other patients will participate, and you're talking about 20-30 people or something, and you are forced to listen what others feel, see, and stuff like that. And it's pretty much, it comes to your turn. What about you? It is the stuff that that's why I'm giving you a warning about. Everything is used to get you talk. It will go into heavy mental war between you and psychiatrists. In my case, psychiatrist was a Serbian, Bosnian, Yugoslav, old Serbian and nostalgic. His name was Muja. Muja, or I don't even know how to pronounce his name. In my case, intensity of this mental war was already, as I have described in previous videos, went to such extent that this individual wanted desperately to get support from other patients against me, because I have continued to claim what I have stated to you. Not claim, but demanded. I would repeat myself. You are keeping me here on grounds of political persecution. There is no reason for you to keep me in here. I demand immediate release. That was my answer to every one of their questions. On what he would smile sarcastically, and he would try to get others against me, how I feel about this, why I feel about this and that, ridicule me. But instead, it was quite phenomenal. The patients from whom he believed he would get support have turned against him, and they were like, well, we don't see anything unusual with this guy. We don't really observe anything that would make us believe that what he is saying is not truth. It was tremendous blow to him. It affected him enormously. It was the point when he backed off. He would not attempt to challenge any longer, because he knew very well that the people, the atmosphere in that and those group gatherings, was against him. And as I started that, there were also other people that followed, and he was no longer in that. It was no longer smooth for him. He greatly changed tactics and have kept kind of distance from me. This is one of the things. By far, and I mean by far, the strongest weapon against you, by far the strongest weapon against you, is they're repeating you, challenging you on issue. Why would anybody have you institutionalized? Why would anybody do that? You didn't do anything. You politically institutionalized. Why would you think about that? What makes you think about this and that? This is one of the things that is used, I would say, is by far the most powerful weapon for these criminals to disarm your right to exist, dignity, if you like, to doubt you, to destroy you. Steps to take instead, regardlessly, and I mean regardlessly, is to continue to complain to courts. And I have complained what was to American embassy. I have complained to Slovenian ombudsman. I have complained to European Commission for Human Rights in Strasbourg. I have complained to presidential office here in Slovenia, healthcare department, and everywhere I possibly could complain to. And I did so in both languages, in Slovenian, and most certainly and most important in what was English language. That's pretty much the language that I use now to promote my rights, because if you're going to concentrate yourself regionally, you definitely will you will have no chance. If you will concentrate yourself on state-wise, you will of course have no chance. If you will concentrate yourself on continental or union, like European Union wise, in my case also I didn't have chance, because it was all in agreement with them, in complete agreement, not only with them but also with the United States. As you know, they all acted against me by simply ignoring me, like I don't exist at all, like I don't exist. Regardless of that, it is stuff that helps you record everything that is taking place, and is ensuring that other people are also acquainted with what is taking place. After all, you don't know what the relationship is between the state that have imprisoned you and human rights courts, organizations, internationally or continentally wise. You don't know what they might say about you, and so on. And further, it is extremely important. It's something that you will use in continuation as a proof against them. So it's something that it's extremely powerful weapon. Follow up on that is the only thing I can say. You were already able to see that they were using to mentally break you down. They were using methods, you know, like when you were due to be released, the last day or even day after, they would deliver the message that you were extended for another month, and then again when that month comes due, they come up with the same message again. You were extended for another month and another month, then, and it repeats, and it's all designed to break you down. The name of the game is write and write and write and write and write, or I should say support what was initial a lie to get you institutionalized. The lie fabricated by local police. That is how pretty much that goes. And if you break it down, if you experience with this nervous breakdown, and meanwhile, then even better. I have seen people, adult men, crying like a babies, like a children when they were hospitalized. You have no clue. You don't know what that means really. Anything like I would say hunger strike is not a rational thing to do because these days what they do is they throw you on machines and they artificially keep you alive. There's nothing you can do about that. So it's not a thing to do at all. It's not gonna help you. I started it, but I have realized that it's not gonna do any good to me. It's not because I couldn't hold on to it, go through with it, but it's just not healthy. It creates also what would be in the future probably suicidal spirit. I think it's mentally unhealthy to go into it. It's bad for your teeth. You have to chew something all the time. It's bad for your stomach. It's bad for everything, and you cannot win that because they keep you. They artificially they hook you up intravenously. They can feed your body, and it's nothing you can do about it. Regardless of everything, you have to act. I'm not gonna say politely, but just I would say officially. You know, you pretty much have to comply with whatever they have to say, because anything else, or I should say everything else, is only going to get you in troubles. That's all. They're there pretty much to do their job, and you're pretty much to get out of there with as least damages as possible to your health. Is pretty much is the name of the game. Now I don't guarantee you, as I stated previously, that you will be released if you start from very beginning with demand for immediate release due to political incarceration, institutionalization, if you like. But chances for your release are much greater. They are much greater. Toward the end of the before they will release you, they will demand what will be second mental health evaluation tests that I have referred to you. They will test again your memory, your IQ, a Rorschach test, and idea behind that is simply to imagine that took place in my case after 9 months or just 1 month prior to my release, during which I was heavily medicated. Something that made you unable to read, to exercise your brain, in other words. And it's a great weapon because the tests, I anticipate that's what that was used for, could be afterwards used to switch the tests with the first tests and stuff like that. So if possible, demand ball pen, write down the date on that paper, do pretty much everything possible to make difficult for them. There's nothing they can really do these days, but as much as impossible for them to also falsify that, so they wouldn't be able to switch. Well, the biggest blow in this pro-Yugoslav, pro-Serbian communist scum was fact that after 9 months that I was like this with those medicines, still capable to complete those mental evaluations with way beyond the average person's mental capabilities. Hospital staff itself didn't even know why I was there. Okay, they had second doubts about this whole thing. They were like asking me, they were like, what is this guy doing here, this and that. Oh, they will try to substantiate, they will do everything possible to also make you believe that you're lucky to have this kind of health care, you know. They will continue to brainwash you on issues how bad costs 100 or 150 euros per day is what I was told. And they will engage in indirect monologues amongst themselves while you will be present. It will be one guy is going to be, who's going to pay for this? Who's going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for this? Who's going to pay for this? And then there will be magically another guy around, and he's got insurance. He's got insurance. He's lucky. They'll pay for that bill. Bill was about 4,500 euros, is what I got afterwards, once released from hospital. So they're trying to suggest you that you're lucky. That you're lucky, basically. That's lucky to be thrown behind the walls of mental institution. I already have mentioned that accusations that they have fabricated, the stuff they have written about, were really fantasies, insanity, total insanity, that even included there's gesturing that I have supported Anders Breivik, that I have admiration for Anders Breivik, that I admire Anders Breivik. And they will have police also coming to you and engage themselves into what would be some kind of investigations. They would just appear out of nowhere, and that they would continue to build against you mental pressure, like build against you insecurity. Psychologically, they would try to make you insecure, make you wish for that something would not go wrong, even that you have nothing to do with it. And in other words, they would have here police from this local town come to Ljubljana, and they would all of a sudden start to investigate, not investigate really, but get the word from my mouth about Anders Breivik and this and that. And the only thing that I can say is it was something that have repeated afterwards upon release from mental hospital. I was again interrogated. I was summoned again to a psychiatrist in Ljubljana. Acted very politely, very nicely, elderly lady, but the issue was the same. What I think about Anders Breivik and stuff like that. I hope you do understand that exercising what is offered on the internet, right to free speech, would be fatal for me. Yeah, what you see on internet, other people saying that that he was right or something like that under the circumstances that I have described, would be totally fatal. And by saying that, pretty much explains that even so, even the people that have exercised their right to speech, whether they did that for sake of the truth or whatever, they might in the future, they pretty much might find themselves in situations similar to mine. And the only thing is, they're not going to be able to say that they didn't say. So under circumstances, as I have described here, my answer was and is always will be, I have my opinion, but I preserve the right to keep one to myself for now. Now it's time for you to learn about what takes place after you're being, in a parenthesis, released from mental ward. What to do, what not to do, and what steps to take for you to survive. Well, just as I have explained, that fabrication of charges from local police was used as a base to fabricate additional lies against you by mental ward, and of course that includes all the people that were involved in these hearings and stuff, psychiatrists, pretty much everybody. Your release from mental ward will be used to further substantiate false accusations or fabrications from lies that were piled up against you by a local police department, and afterwards mental ward. So what it is just a continuation of lies, is basically what it is. This is a phase 2 of persecution against you. Basically, you have to take, to protect your life, you have to take the same steps as if you would have taken in case you would have been released accordingly with, as I have instructed you as. If you would just continue to claim that you demand immediate release due to persecution against you, which took place based on political grounds, that is exactly what are the steps that you have to take in order to protect your life. Because all they will do from this point on, or in second stage or second phase, they will continue to attempt to psychologically break you down and pile more and more and more and more lies against you. For that to happen, what they will do, at least this is what they did in my case, they will come up with what will be release hearing that will take outside of the mental ward at your local court. That's at least what the case was in my case, here in Novo Mesto, if you like. And it was the best described for me was incident that preceded this hearing, exit hearing if you like, which I can best describe as what was given to me again as attorney in a parenthesis, was another Serbian, little Serbian, that would show up and would suggest to this nurse who was selected for continuation of this persecution against me as a individual that would be part of the, in a parenthesis, therapy, against me, compulsory therapy, to which I had to agree or I would not exit mental ward at all. So there was no choice, in other words, stating her in front of me that people like myself, what they used to do with them in good old times, he said, we used to fry brain to guys like this. electroconvulsive ECT. Okay, pretty much hook you up with the electrodes and burn your brain was name of the game in good old times, like the Serbian have suggested to this nurse before we entered inside of the courtroom. That was pretty much it. So at that point, you still will have to agree whatever they have to say. And if you would have done as I have stated before, and you would have been released, probably you would not have to have this kind of experience with them. However, you would have to take steps which I'm about to talk about right now. Yes, on that exit hearing, if you like, court, local court here, the only right for you that you have to say is either yes or no. Yes to release, or in other words, whatever this psychiatry hospital have written will be done with you, or no, and you can go back inside. So you don't really have any choice. Yes or no is pretty much it. I said yes, and this is how we entered second stage or second phase of this genocide. And in this second stage, they have compelled me in visiting local, at least that is under what they call agreement. You know, that's agreement. It's also agreement. And if I put the gun on you and I said, what choice are you going to choose? Either you're going to accept my agreement, or I'm going to pull that trigger, is what they call agreement, basically. During this agreement, I was compelled to visit local psychiatrist in Novo Mesto. Her name is Dr. Prokschel, monthly, and on every 2 weeks, and it have turned even into more frequent visits, I was compelled to meet at home with, in a parenthesis, a nurse, and her name is Andrea Jeric. Well, this nurse, as I stated in a parenthesis, that has almost the same qualifications as doctor. There is very little education, formal education that one would need to accomplish that title. It was and is used as a follow-up on Dr. Prokschel's, I would say, intimidations, but it's much more than that. It really is a horror. Yes. In fact, the two of them, they would use to intensify the persecution against one. In addition to tons of paperwork that is sent to you on your home, because the persecution doesn't stop there. The persecution, in fact, never stops there. That's why I said there are steps that you have to take immediately upon your exit from mental ward. The first step for you, if you would be released, would be for you to go to local court and demand, in other words, press charges against police department that have fabricated lies against you, for you to obtain names of the witnesses who have falsely testified against you, so you can afterwards continue with the charges against them. That is pretty much what is the name of the game. And it's not so easy at all. That's why you have to stick and you have to learn about it all. What to do, how to do, when, and this and that. And since I was not so lucky, as you know, I have spent 10 months in that mental ward. This ongoing war, now goes into a second stage, which I already have greatly described. It is the stage during which you are frequently referred to as a patient. You are frequently suggested to take medicines. Unfortunately, I have to say that my mom was already from very beginning she wouldn't be that I have to take them, but she would be, well, but you should try, you should just take it. Yeah, it's like you take a candy, you take a candy and you swallow it. It's okay, it's fine. Even if you don't have the disease, which was the case even according to them, you should just take it. It's like a candy or chocolate bar. It's not gonna hurt you at all, says my mommy, to support this communist scum field. Just as she have done all that other great stuff that I have talked about on my blogs. But you have to know, you have to understand that the mommy will be used greatly, greatly, greatly against you. In fact, the mommy during this process will reach such heights, or your parents I should say, your mommy and your daddy, that they can pretty much decide everything about you. Yes, what I'm suggesting is that they will continue to empower them. It doesn't matter if your parents acted like Fritzl in Austria, stuff they have done to you. At this stage, at this point, they will pretty much be the one who will be deciding about your well-being. And anything they have to say will be used against you. You see, in hospital, it was about what you had to say that was turned in what they said you said. But once you exit the mental world, it will be a totally different story. So you have to be very, very careful, because it will be mostly about what others have to say about. And when we are talking about the candies and chocolate bars or pills that they insist on it, the theory, the psychiatric theory, it was that when I was released, this mujahedini, if you like, suggested you are cured now. It's too late already, you should already be out now. Yes, you should be out, we should already release you. You are cured. The theory behind it all is that when you exit the mental world, the name of the song is that you are under the system's lies, written that you are healthy, that you are okay, but because you decline to take medicines or magic pills, candies if you like, with the time, and this is what you are suggested, is that your health will deteriorate. And with the time, if you don't take the pills, the magic candies, you will be again listed as paranoid schizophrenic. But there is a little problem with it. The problem is that your mommy and daddy, first of all, when, at least that was in my case, when they have saw me in the hospital, the way I was treated, they started to feel sorry for me. That was one of the things. Another thing was that the government, the psychiatry, acts all along like a bridge, bridge between you and between the parents which have had committed themselves into heavy crime against you. So it is in their best interest, yes, it is in their best interest not only to maintain, to hold you pretty much in their hands like a bird, but also create bond or new bridge between you and parents, since you have totally talked about what they have done to you. So in order to accomplish that, they have to pretty much comply with whatever parents have to say. And parents, since they have experienced moment of the truth, when you have literally suggested to the world, when you have totally revealed to the world who and what they are, it's their great desire not to get on your way with the lies anymore.